Hi y'all, it's Nikki from the Steel Magnolia Company. I'm going to start a series of tutorials to talk about making stainless steel tumblers and using the epoxy and everything along with it. This first few videos are going to be the basics, so if you've made a cup before, you probably want to go ahead and skip on to something that's a little more advanced. If you're just starting out or you are thinking about starting out, here's a great place to start. Today I'm going to talk about the materials we use and why we need them, why they're important, where you can find them, and how to get yourself a nice little setup. So stay tuned and we will show you how this is done. Alright, to get started, the first thing you need obviously is a cup. We're going to recommend you find one at thesteelmagnoliacompany.com. The reason why these are so great, they come in a box, so if you have plans to get them shipped, this will help provide some protection for them, as well as they come individually bubble wrapped, every cup on there. We also like that it's a clear sliding lid. Clear goes with just about everything. No dark tinted lids to kind of get in the way of your design. So stainless steel cup is what you're looking for. You want it double walled and vacuum sealed. That's what keeps them nice and cold or nice and hot. So we have our cup. The next thing you're going to need is something to put inside of this. We recommend either the footballs. The footballs are great for the 30-ounce cups. We found these at Dollar Tree. I cut off the end of it and cut in a little hole. The reason we want this is because you're also going to need something to put it on. What I did was I got a very long piece of 3/4 inch PVC pipe and I brought it home and cut it up myself. If you buy the shorter ones, it's not such a great deal and you're going to need a lot of them anyway. So what I did was I cut them maybe about 1 foot long, and I added a male adapter to the end, and I'll show you why because of my table later. This is totally optional. It's based on your setup that you have, but what you're going to need is something to put it on. You're going to need the thing to secure it to the cup, and you're going to shove it down in there so that you're able to hold your cup. Now, the footballs, like I said, were great for the 30-ounce. What I use for my 20-ounce is a very large pool noodle. So this is one of the jumbo pool noodles. It's a little bit bigger, and sometimes it doesn't always fit down in there. There's still a little give to it. So what you can do is you can take shelf liner, it's like that rubbery non-slip, and cut a strip of it and with a rubber band wrap it around. This will also give it some more grip inside your cup, but it also add a little bit of diameter so that it fits inside your cup, and you just push it in there, put your stick in. Now when I first started doing this, I connected the football to the stick. Let me show you right here. I glued them, actually I used, oh, what's that stuff? Caulk. I used caulk, and now they don't come off. The problem is I can't put this on my turner, and if you have a wet cup, you don't want to touch it and to have to pull it off and put it on something else. It's just not ideal. So don't put them together. That is my advice. You want to keep them separate, because what I would do with this is paint it, and then when I'm ready to put the epoxy on, I can take the pole out and I can put it on my turner without having to dig that out, and it's a whole mess. You just don't want to have to do that. Sorry about that. Mom duties, my little one came in. So what you also need is a turner. What I have here is the 9-cup turner from Cuposaurus. They're a little company here in the USA that I believe they 3D print it. Just by judging like some of the pieces, they look like they're 3D printed. I've had this one about 8 months. I love it. I started out with the chicken rotisserie from Lowe's, and I had built myself my own. The problem with it is when I had more than 1 cup, because I created with PVC pipes a way to do 4 at a time. The problem was a cup like a wine glass versus a 30-ounce. The weight distribution was too much, and it would fling it, and it didn't work out very well. So this one was a great investment. I love Cuposaurus. I haven't had any issues with it, and it's still going strong. So the reason why we need a cup turner is because when we apply the epoxy, we want it to be coated evenly. If, say, you just left your cup sitting upside down, all the epoxy would want to run off and you'd have drippage all down on the bottom. And then if you lay it on the side, kind of the same thing, everything will run off and stay here. So you need this to be constantly turning at an even rate, which is why a cup turner is so important. Now, I know a lot of people have tutorials out there to build your own turner using a microwave motor. If that's what you have, then that's great. I love this just because it was easy and it works for me. So then what else do we need? So to get started, you're going to need epoxy. Epoxy, I use the Promarine. It's what I started with. It's what I've always used. I know a lot of people, they don't like the smell. It is very strong. But me living in Texas, I like it because I've always heard that it's much more suitable for the heat. It holds up better. And like I said, living in Texas, I don't always have the means to take my cup inside with me. Say I'm going to a restaurant or the store and I leave my cup in the car in the middle of summer. It's going to hold up a lot better, I think, than some of the other brands. And I've never had a problem with it, but I know people say the micro bubbles are a big issue for them. I think if you apply enough heat when it's done, you're going to get rid of a lot of those bubbles, and mixing it together a certain way, it'll help prevent those as well. So, like I said, I've always used Promarine. I've never used anything else. I can't say one way or the other, you know, which is the best. I think it's just what's suitable for you. So, what else you would need? You'll need a lot. You're going to need gloves, because when you're messing with epoxy, make sure you have gloves. I go to Costco and I get those big boxes of gloves because I go through them like nobody's business, because I also use them to help not contaminate the other glitters. So if I'm using glitter, I'm going to put my gloves on, and then when I'm done with that color, I'm going to take them off and put new gloves on for the next color. So I go through a ton of gloves. You're going to need something to put your epoxy in. So what I use for my epoxy is there's these cute little disposable measuring cups, and I use about a set a day. So at the end of the day, I'll throw them out and get new ones just because the residue builds up. So but you can reuse them all day long. These are little 1 ounce containers. Like I said, I got them on Amazon. And I also use just Dixie cups. These are the big 5 ounce ones. And I have the little dispenser to hold them all in. It's worked great. I have a huge box of popsicle sticks because I'm going to need to stir the epoxy. I just ordered some of the silicone spatulas. They're long, skinny, kind of like a giant popsicle stick, but it's silicone. So the reason why we use silicone is because when the epoxy hardens, it'll just peel right off the silicone. It won't stick, and so those will be reusable. Mod Podge, sorry, it's not Modge, Mod Podge. I have some of that. Extra stirs, you're going to need alcohol and acetone. I got alcohol, make sure it's 91% or more. And I got these little pump dispensers where you just push on it and it comes up. I got these at Dollar Tree as well. And acetone, I have them labeled so I know the difference. And I also found this little mister at Hobby Lobby, and I put alcohol in it for my alcohol inks. I use painter's tape. I use this for when I'm spray painting a cup and I don't want certain areas to get other colors on it. Electrical tape. What's great about electrical tape is when you put it on a cup, for instance, this one right, where'd it go? This cup right here, this was a sippy that we got for a sample, and I'm trying it out to see how well it works. This sippy right here, it's going to have a screw-on lid as well as a bottom, and I don't want my epoxy to build up there, so I can put on electrical tape, and then that way when it's, after I put the epoxy on and it's been turning, I leave it on for about an hour. And then you just grab the electrical tape and you can pull it off, and your cup will be clean. You'll have a nice clean line. I don't know that you can do it with painter's tape. I've always used electrical tape and it's worked like a charm. I also have a variety of X-Acto knives. I think this is more for my vinyl than cut making, but I have used them. What I use for cut making is this scraper. I got it in Walmart in, I think, the paint section. It's a big scraper. I guess you could use it on glass and whatnot. But I use this to clean up my edges and to scrape off the epoxy around the top of my rim. I also have a big thing of paintbrushes. Never can go wrong there. I have a ton of tweezers, a ton of scissors, and then I have the little pipettes. Those I've used a few times just to get paint in small places or to give a splattered effect. Again, not always necessary, but great to have. I also built me this. It is just a piece of 2x4, and I put a female 3/4 inch connector on there. And again, so I had the piece of wood. I drilled, I think it was a 1-inch hole in order to fit the connector in there. And then what I like about this is what I use when I paint an ombre, because I can set it, it's like I said, it's small, it's mobile. I can set it out on my front porch, and then when I have a cup on here, I can screw it in. It's not going anywhere. It's stable, okay? And I have both my hands to work with spraying an ombre. I also originally made this for a dirty pour, which is where you pour the acrylic and it's all going to run down. So I would set this on top of like a throwaway metal sheet so that it would catch all the excess paint. And I'm not a fan of dirty pour. So it's really actually come in handy a lot more when I do, like I said, the ombre paint. What else are you going to need? I think they're handy. These are those silicone bake mats. The ones like you would put on a cookie sheet when you bake in the oven. Again, silicone so the epoxy doesn't stick. And I put these underneath my cups to catch glitter, catch epoxy. And it's real easy cleanup because you just pick it up, and when the epoxy's dry, it just comes right off, and throw it in the trash. It just helps keep a clean workspace. We also need glitter. I have a huge selection of glitter. Trust me, it takes time. You will build up your collection too. I get mine from several different places, but I have yet to buy it already in a jar. So I found these on Amazon. They're little 4-ounce clear little jars with a screw-on lid, and they come with a little stir stick, and I just save these for a rainy day. And then this will fit quite a bit of glitter. I think it's about 2 ounces, give or take, on what type of glitter it is. Sometimes it won't hold it all. Sometimes it's, you know, too big. But I really love those. And you're going to need, actually, let me take a pause right here to move my camera, and I'm going to show you the table that I built. Alright guys, here I have my table that I built. I built it because I have a specific size room. I needed something that was going to fit my turner, but also fit the supplies I need on a regular basis. And I also customized it to do a few other things that have been really helpful. This right here is just a tray. It has some not so often used supplies that I can keep there. And it fits all of my cans of spray paint. I have a lot of cans. I recommend the Rust-Oleum brand. I like this better than the Krylon. Krylon tends to run. So I usually get this paint and primer, the 2-time paint and primer. Get it matte if you can, but it's not a big deal if it's gloss. Those are my favorite. I have my 91% alcohol. I just get that from Walmart. And my 100% acetone. It's very important to have 100%. And again, I just use those little bottles to pour it in. I also use for my glitter, my fine glitter, it's this Loctite spray adhesive. It's very important that you look and you get the mist, not the web. If I'm not mistaken, the web is in it's green instead of red. So this is what I use. I don't use the Mod Podge method. It's not my cup of tea. I know a lot of people do, but I use Loctite. So what we have over here, let me slide you over, is the table I built. And as you can see up here, I drilled in 2 holes just like I did up on my block of wood. The reason I use this is because when I'm doing my alcohol inks, it's really helpful. I'll put it right here. This one's a little loose. I try not to use it. It's perfect because I can sit here and in my chair and I can work with it. I can turn my cup. It's really easy to use. I wish I would have put more, honestly, more holes in it. But then when I'm done there and I just need them to dry, as you can see down here, I have I think like 9 or 10 of the female connectors. Again, I just drilled a 1-inch hole and used the caulk to seal it in, okay? And that way when I have a cup that's ready to just dry, whether it's paint or I just need to free my hands, I just give it a couple turns. It doesn't have to be 100% in there. And then this is how I dry everything. So, and then also under here, this is where I keep my glitter bucket. So when I glitter things, I like to do it in here. I keep the paper plates. I go through a lot of paper plates because every time you use a glitter, you basically throw it away when you're done. So you go through a lot of paper plates. This is going to catch the excess so you can pour it back in your little jar. And then once you're done with that color, you pretty much just throw it away. And then down here is just a potluck of glitter. Eventually, every now and then, throw it away. So I actually have 2 buckets of glitter. This one really needs cleaned out. It's got a lot of them. I should probably dump that. You have a big mixture of glitter. I don't know if you ever have a need for that. And then these were those cookie sheets I was talking to you about. I started out using these instead of the silicone mats, but they just got so dirty so fast and you were throwing them away left and right. I also used it, so when I get glitter in and I need to put it in my jar, I make sure to put this down so I can dump. And I also use it sometimes under my alcohol inks. So those, again, were dollar store for 2 of them. As you can see, they got dirty, but they can be reused. I think that's all for here. Let me talk about some of the other extra supplies that I have on the shelf, and they're not necessarily 100% needed, but if you're in the market for something new, here's what I use. All right, let's talk about what I have over here. So I actually built my glitter shelf. It was just out of these, I don't know what these are, like 1x3 boards. It was pre-painted. I just cut them out. What I did was I measured about 2 of the containers so that I could get them stacked in. Honestly, I'm almost full. So, and I didn't measure the bottom right. I can only get 1 on the bottom. Go me. When it comes to glitter, so like most people probably, I started out with Hobby Lobby glitter, Michael's glitter, and I've heard that, I mean, they're good to start with, don't get me wrong, but I've heard that they can kind of lose their shine, lose their, you know, sparkle. It's a much better deal to also get glitter from like a boutique because you're getting it by the weight instead of the volume. So usually you end up getting more, and sometimes it can be cheaper, and you definitely get what you pay for. So the more you spend on glitter, I know some of them can be very pricey, but they are beautiful, absolutely beautiful. and totally worth it. So I have kind of on the ends my, you know, craft store glitter, and then over here is more of my specialty glitter that I got from different places. I got this one. This was the first specialty glitter I got, and it was from Southern Bling and Supplies. I've liked the chunkier ones, but when it came to the fine ones, I don't know if just too much moisture kept getting in. These I packaged in a smaller one. They just, excuse me, a lot of them got chunky, or they wouldn't stick, or I bought once from there, I think, and I tried other places that I just end up liking better. So it's all in preference though. I do Glitter Glam a lot. They're on Facebook. I really like theirs. I got some from, I can't think of her name, Southern Bees Bling, from Miranda. She's on several different groups. She sent me some glitter. I tried the chunky pink one. She actually, I think she named it Little Ham after me. Thanks, Miranda. And I'm looking forward to trying her Disco Fever. I also have a lot from Yaya's. I think Yaya is probably my biggest supplier in glitter. I've done Mr. Nola's. Who else have I used? I know there's more. Glitter Glams. Oh, this one, the Bright Eye Bling. What I really like from her is she's got, let me see it. So she's got this opal that I really love. I know everyone does the golden opal chunky from Yaya, but she's got one called Capri Island, and it's basically, it's like almost like I don't know if you can see. It's like more of a confetti. They're not all round pieces or hexagons or whatever they are. It's almost like a confetti, like a blended, mixed up, no shape confetti. So I really like that one. And if I can think of any others where I've gotten specialty ones. Let's talk about this. So this is a photochromatic pigment. I think I got these off Amazon, to be honest. These are the ones that will change color in the sun. And I'll go into a tutorial about how to use those. But you can always get color changing sun activated UV. I have embossing powder, which is, again, I'll do a tutorial on how to use embossing powder. And I have, as you can see, I have the acrylic paints. I have a bunch of different mediums. So I have the crackle, you can make it crackle, and this is called the floating medium. I haven't used it yet, but I have an idea for it. I'm going to test it out before I spill the beans on that one. And I just got these for my alcohol inks. This is, they have removable pads, so you can use one pad and continuously use it. I've ruined so many paintbrushes with my inks, so I'm excited to start using those. What else do we have? I just went to Hobby Lobby and picked up the mica powders. They didn't have a huge selection of color. I was kind of disappointed. I know there's another Facebook group out there, I'll have to remember the name, that sells really awesome micas for a good price. And I also have the dye, transparent dye that you can use. I get this at Hobby Lobby as well. Got some fun things planned for that. And then these are the, oh, what was the name? Patina. I think it was Patina. Patina, it gives like a rust look. So I'm going to play with those a little bit before I do a tutorial on those. But basically, in a nutshell, to get started, you're going to need your cup. You're going to need epoxy. You're going to need your stick and something to put it on, pool noodle, football, I know there's a lot of different things out there. I'm actually working on one that's yet to come out. What else are you gonna need? You need a turner. You're gonna need either, you're gonna need paint. If you want vinyl, printable vinyl, water slide, we'll go into those more later, how to use them. Glitter if you want glitter. But just the basics that you absolutely cannot get away from are the cup, the stick, the epoxy, and something to decorate it with. And something to clean it up with. So the razor, alcohol, acetone. You're going to need lots of paper towels, gloves. Can't go without gloves. And if I went a little fast for you on all of this, on our website, I did the first blog. I took pictures and, you know, hyperlinked in some of the materials I use. So www.thesteelmagnolia.com, our blog on there, the first one ever, that is, in a nutshell, what I talked about today. So if you have any questions, comment below and I will try my best to get back to you as soon as possible. Hope this was helpful and I look forward to our tutorials in the future. Just kidding, not done yet. So I forgot about the inks. So when I first started, I made my own alcohol inks. And what I did was I used a Bic permanent marker. You could use Sharpie. I just liked the colors and I liked the price of Bic better. So I broke off the little tab of the permanent marker and I cut open, like dissected, pulled apart the marker until I had just a little stick left. Cut it up, put it in a little tube, and then added in, I forget how much alcohol this was. I'd have to look it up. I can do a tutorial if you really want. Put in the 91% alcohol and shook it up, let it sit for a while. So I made these on my own, and the first time I ever used them, they weren't as vibrant as I had hoped. So, like I said, I can show you a tutorial. I probably will, just for those of you who don't want to spend the money on all of the other types of inks. Oh, see, and then it leaks all over you. And I'm permanently blue for like the next week. That's why you wear gloves. So I have here the Tim Holtz alcohol inks. I've used them. I love them. They're much, much more vibrant. I wish I could show you a picture contrast. These come in 3 packs except for the metallics. I think the metallics only come in the 2-pack. And then this nice little container. I love it. It keeps them all organized. I can color code them. Keeps them secure. So I like these better. You can find these Hobby Lobby, Michael's. They're sold out a lot. So you just kind of have to find them whenever they go on sale, or just grab a pack every time you go in and use your 40%. I don't think I paid full price for any of these. So these you'll also need, I guess it's not a necessity, but it's one of the easiest things you can do. So I highly recommend it. And there's different ways to apply it, which we will talk about that in a later one. And I also wanted to show you, here's what I bought. I know a lot of people are always trying to find ways to display their glitter choices. So I love these because, as you can see, these are like the fingernail things. Like when you go to the nail salon and they're showing you all the different colors, that's these right here. And what I love about these, I got them on Amazon and I can share the link, but there's 3 of them. So what I would do with this is, so say I had a pink glitter that I'm trying to show. I would do black, I would do white, and I would do pink with paint, base coat, and then sprinkle the glitter on, because then it shows the different options, because a base coat is going to completely change the color of your glitter. So I like these because I could get 3 onto 1, and it has the ring, and you can put the name of it right up top there. And if you're ever at a show or you know, need to show somebody all your color choices and you don't want to take this with you, you just take your little ring with all your little swatches and it's perfect. And as you can see, I'm a slacker and I haven't done it yet, but I had a great idea. So I also have these ones over here that I bought because I wasn't sure which ones would work better. These are just singles and they're already kind of like a yellowy off-white. So I feel like that's gonna kind of tamper with the true color of things. So I'm gonna stick with the clear. I really like the clear. I have 2 packs of them. And one day I'll get my act together and actually do it. So, all right. Now I think I have maybe, I'm double checking, maybe got through all of the supplies you need. So if I think of anything else, I'm sure there are some things I forgot, but as far as the basics of things you need, here they are. You got your glitter, you got your spray paint, you got your cup, your turner, your epoxy, and from there, you can wing it. So, all right guys, for real this time, see you later.